I'm ready. Yeah. We're live? Okay. How can I see the presentation myself? Yep. Got it. All right. All right, I'll start. Hey everyone. My name's Ophir Gottlieb. I'm going to talk to you today about option trading, not futures trading, although we will be looking at technicals for SPX. So if you're an ES front month trader, you could use the technicals, but this is not for futures. This is for options and stock. So let me go through a few disclaimers first, just like 3 slides, and then we can get into it. So as I'm sure everyone has said 54,000 times, this is not a solicitation to buy or sell any security ever. This is not advice. The results I'm going to show you are provided for general information purposes as a convenience to the viewers. That would be you. The materials are not a substitute for obtaining professional advice from a qualified person from a corporation. Trading futures and options, I have to say this, trading futures and options involves a risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate. You can keep reading. And anytime someone talks about options, they have to put a link here at the bottom to the OCC, which it's a really long disclaimer about how risky options are. Okay, those are my disclaimers. You're welcome. So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to do it quickly. And the goal is so that in 10 minutes, you'll know what I do. And if you like it, in 15 minutes, you'll be trading. That's it. Trade Machine essentially gives you 1 billion. It's actually 1 trillion times more power than a trader using a hand annotated chart. Nothing I'm showing you here is for fun. It's for profit. So I'm not here to do cool buttons and cool charts, and nobody cares. I'm a trader. I've been a market maker. I've been a hedge fund manager. This is to make money. And if it's not making you money, then don't use it. And that goes for everything that you subscribe to. With regard to finance, the idea of back testing is pretty simple. So if you've ever used a stock chart, that's a back test, right? Because we only have the past. There's no such thing as a stock chart with the future. If you have one of those, though, go ahead and message me on Twitter. Same thing goes for, sometimes Danny sends these really odd tweets. He says like between this minute and this minute on this day, like, you know, ESF is up 88% of the time, whatever. That's a back test. That's what Danny's sharing, a back test. So the question becomes, with regard to options, would you rather try an option strategy where you kind of have no idea how it's done over the last 15 years through various markets, or would you rather make an option trade where you do know how it's done for the last 15 years? That's it. Add on top of that we do, we've created models, no black boxes, which have outperformed the standard for that model. So for example, owning stocks from 2009 to now, you should have made money. The question isn't, will a bullish strategy make money in a bull market? The question is, has the bullish strategy significantly outperformed just a standard bullish strategy, right? So that's what we do. So that's enough of that. I'm just going to go ahead and bring over Trade Machine. So give me a sec. Looking good. All right, so this is Trade Machine. There are 5 tabs across the top. I think I'll spend 3 minutes on each, and then you can go about your day. First thing I'm going to do, see these 5 tabs, I'm going to go to the Pro Scan tab. This is where, well, I'll even log in. How about that? The Pro Scan tab. This is where you can see all of the different triggers that we have. You don't have to read them. I'm just letting you know they're here. Pre-earnings trades, post-earnings trades, nothing to do with earnings trades, ETF trades, which would be indices as well. What I'm going to do is show you an example of one. It's a buy the dip model. I'm just going to show you how to identify 5 triggers, show you how to set alerts for them, show you what a buy the dip trigger is, and then I'm going to show you the trades that are up for today, and then I'm going to get out of here. Okay. So when you're using the scanner, you just pick a ticker group. You can just choose all tickers in North America. Just for me, I like the NASDAQ 100 because there's liquidity. So I'm going to click NASDAQ 100. I've just done the first thing. The next thing is I'm going to pick the strategy I want to scan for, and today I want to do buy the dip because it's relevant to the way the market's moving. Before I click buy the dip, I want to sort of clarify something. buying the dip is actually how you lose money. So we can buy the dip any day we want, right? You go to a scan, look for 52-week lows, stocks making 52-week lows, and just buy them. And that strategy is actually not called buying the dip. That strategy is actually called going bankrupt. So if you do that in anywhere from 1 to 10 days with options, you'll end up just having $0 in your account. It's not actually buying the dip that you want, right? It's buying the rip after the dip that you want. So we call it buy the dip because that's become a colloquialism. If you're trading options, you know very well that you don't just have to be right in direction, you have to be right in time. If you buy a stock today that's going to go up 10% in a week, but you had a weekly option, you just lost 100% of your money, even though you were right. This is for option traders. And as I said, this isn't for fun. This is to profit. So it's got to be right in time and in direction. So I'm going to click buy the dip. And we're just going to see the results. I'm going to sort it by wins. We're just going to see all the results for the NASDAQ 100. Okay. Intel, Gilead, Starbucks, and all these companies. I'm not terribly interested in going over what the scanner has. I'm just going to show you how to use it in real life. Okay, so it looks like Intel's pretty interesting. So I'm going to click on Intel. I want you to note that right now I'm on the Pro Scan tab. When I click Intel, another tab has opened up on my browser, right? So here was the Pro Scan tab, and here is the Backtest tab. And this is what Intel has done over the last 5 years when we've used the buy the dip trigger. And I'll tell you what that is right now. It just sounds like a magical thing, right? So I'm not going to go there. But I want to look at more than Intel while we're at it. I want to look at, another 4. So I'm going to look at Starbucks, PayX, Google, and Workday. I really like those stocks. So I have no idea what I just said. So I'll go back and forth from the scan tab. Right. Starbucks, Google, no memory anymore. PayX and Workday. I just said, so I'll go back and forth from the scan tab. And you see what I'm doing. I'm just entering the tickers common to limited. All of the settings are on the left hand. No memory anymore. PayX inside. So this is actually a naked call. So I'll go back and forth from the scan tab. And you see what I'm doing. I'm just entering the tickers common to limited strategy. And there's a specific kind of technical open which qualifies as buy the dip. I'll show you how to find that in a second. So for now, just work on the idea that this isn't going to be a black box for very long. We also do have stops and limits set in for this. All of these technicals and stops and limits are based upon, back testing millions of different strategies, then verifying them statistically to make sure we're not overfitting curves. And these are the results. Okay, so the first thing it says, okay, well, this looks good over 5 years, but in the options world, as you well know, volatility moves in regimes. So the last 5 years might not actually be that relevant. So let's look at the last 3 years. Okay, all of these look good over the last 3 years. 6 wins, 3 losses, 8 wins, 1 loss, 5 wins, 1 loss, 6 wins, 3 losses, 4 wins, 1 loss. Fine, good. Now let's look at the last year. You'll see they all look pretty good, but actually Google is 2 wins, 1 loss in the last year with the 4% thing. Even with commissions going to 0, I don't like that trade. Like I'm not in. So I'm not interested in knowing when this happens for Google. So I just delete it and I'll load those 4 tickers. All right, and just because nobody likes to just trust a summary number, you can always just click on a tile. So just click on Starbucks and say, okay, well, what is this thing? What happened? Okay, this opened on October 12th, 2018. The stock was at 56.45. The no 58 calls were $1.15. And we see 5 days later, they went up to 217. So it was a 87% winner. And that's when the trigger was to get out. Okay, so you can, for longer back tests, you can download everything into Excel. You can always see what's happening. This is just meant to be a summary. Okay, so I like these triggers. Actually, you know what? Intel isn't a big enough gain for me either. I'm going to drop Intel. Okay, so I want to know when this happens because I'm not going to watch the market all day for 19,000 stocks. So I'm going to click the Add Alert button. And I want you to note now that I'm on the Backtest tab. Before that, I was on the Pro Scan tab. Oh, I just blew it out. Okay, and now I'm going to go to Add Alert. See that right here, little blue button? This now takes me to the Alerts tab, right? So we did the scanner, the backtest, the Alerts tab. It's got the 3 tickers already in there. It's got the technicals already set, which I'll review. You put in an email address. So for sake of sanity, I'll just put our support email address in there. Enter your phone number, which I will just make up. And then you can give yourself a little note like this is a, buy the dip trigger. And you'll note it includes a URL. I'll show you what that URL looks like. Okay, so then I just click Add Alert. I've just added 3 alerts. Okay, here they are, PayX, Starbucks, and Workday. If I were to click this link right here, all of a sudden it brings up the backtest. So I'll remember what I'm doing. So that's it. I've added 3 alerts. This is for one strategy. Very quickly, our members, there are many members who have over 2,000 alerts. So they've taken the time to really build themselves out, essentially war chest. And so they're getting alerts every day. Some are bullish, some are bearish, some buy vol, some sell vol, some are non-directional, surround earnings, some are totally avoiding earnings, some use technicals, some don't use technicals. To get a feeling for all the strategies that we look at, you can just go to the Pro Scanner and just, if you become a member, you just go down here and read. Here's pre-earnings stuff, vol scalps and bullish plays, diagonals, and here's after earnings stuff. A week buy the dip has nothing to do with earnings, but there's also bullish bursts and technical bursts, long strangles. Okay. On the backtest tab, you can create any strategy you want. So while we have some pre-built in the scanner, there's literally unlimited strategies you can build. You just click custom. We have a video on it, and you can do whatever you want. So we have people also who have well in excess of 300 strategies they're looking at, and they're just setting alerts and they trigger. Okay, so even though I've gone relatively quickly, we've looked at the backtest tab, the Pro Scan tab, the alerts tab. Next question you probably have is, okay, dude, you showed us a buy the dip trigger and told us how buying the dip isn't really the purpose. It's buying the rip after the dip. You want to tell us what the model is then? So click on the Discover tab. And then you go to frequently asked questions and you just look for it. And here it is. Identifying and optimizing by the dip. So if you remember, you click on that, you'll get a little video and it shows you that this is what the trigger is, right? So that here's the dip. We don't want that. It triggers when it crosses this line when something else is happening, and that's what you want. It's an 11-minute video, which tells you not only what the trigger is, but it shows you how it's done over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. And it compares it to just owning a call during a bull market. Worth it. Okay, so I have that for every single trigger we have. It's just all the way down here. If you're really into volatility trading, just vol scalping, we have a whole thing on that too. It's how to become a top 1% expert. So that's a 30-minute presentation. So now I've looked at the Pro Scan tab, the Backtest tab, the Alerts tab, and the Discover tab. And finally, we just added this yesterday. It's the Today tab. Having said all of that, if you just don't want to set alerts, we share the triggers that are happening today, right now. So for example, NOW has a bullish burst that's happening right now. And if you were to go to cmlviz.com, and you look at service now, yep. Right. So one of the triggers we just sent, I think it was 2 days ago, was an Octa trigger. And, gosh, what do you know? Octa's up 10% today. And just to show you, I'm not kidding. Here's my Twitter account. Let me go to my notifications, which get pretty cuckoo. Here's a guy who did the Octa trade with us, and he's up 131% in 3 days, just for example. He was up 112, he's up 130%, and now he's trimming. So that's how it works. So again, there's videos on how to do all of this. When you first come into Trade Machine, there's a little 7-minute introduction video, which shows you everything I just showed you, just a little bit slower. But you go from the scanner, you check it out, to the back tester, you set the alerts, you go to the Discover tab to make sure you know what you're looking at. Don't trade blind, right? And if you're just want to kind of get in the game, then you just go to the Trades Today tab, which will explain every single scan. We only have 9 in the Trades Today tab. We have 30 in the scanner, but yeah, this is why I said, you can watch this presentation, and if you sign up, there's an hour and 39 minutes left in the day. Probably have 5 trades you could put up if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I can't say that. I would, but you could put on a bearish trade in Electronic Arts and a bullish trade in, let's say, Service now, as an example. Let me go back to this. So that's all I'm going to present. I don't want to go much further because I think going in greater depth is just probably not the greatest use of any of our time. Just know that we have pre-built scans for you. You can also, if you're a more advanced option trader, just forget our pre-built scans. Do what you want. Test things. Test if buying a 30-day call and then selling a weekly call against it every week works, for example. Or if you like to scalp vol, you like to do jelly rolls, whatever it is, as advanced as you want to get or as as much of a beginner as you want to get, and you can try any technical you want. Like, does it really matter if a stock goes down its 200-day moving average? Does that actually matter? I know everybody talks about it, but does it matter? Is that a good time to buy a put when a stock goes from above its 200-day moving average to below? You can just test it. Sure, I'll test it with Cisco. I'll go to technical open. Tell me the day the stock crosses down through the 200-day moving average. That's how easy it is. Is that a good trade? Oh, let's do a long put. Turns out it isn't, right? So everyone says when a stock goes down below the 200-day moving average, it's in technical failure. Yeah, I mean, not for Cisco. Let's put the bigger names in there: Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Hasn't even happened to Microsoft. That's funny. Amazon never goes below its 200-day moving average. So. The giant of the giants. So if you thought that buying a put when the stocks have gone below their 200-day moving average was a good idea, it isn't. Not in the month after earnings. All right, so you can test these things. I say, well, hold on a second. Is buying a call? Should I be buying a call? So let's just do the opposite. The stock crosses below the 200-day moving average. Is buying a call work? Well, it works better than buying a put. So you can get as advanced as you want or as simple as you like. You go to the Today tab and you'll have all triggers to review. And that's it for my presentation, guys. If you want to sign up, you do get 1 month. It costs money to sign up. It's $129. It's normally $199. But you can get a refund. It's not a trial. You get a refund if you don't like it in the first 30 days. You just say, hey, thanks a lot. Kind of wasn't my thing. But we will debit your account. Right? For some reason, people think it's a trial. It's not a trial. It's just refundable. You want to put a www in front of it, but if you go to www.cmlviz and then put MTS, Mr. Top Step, that's how you get the special pricing. And I'll show you what that page looks like right here, just so you know that you landed on the right page, www.cmlviz.com/Mr. Top Step. And you'll see the Mr. Top Step logo. And there you go. It's $129 down from $199. Okay. So that's it, guys. You can get trading in the next 10 minutes if you want. Can watch videos on this page, which was an 18-minute video, which gives obviously a lot more than I did. Oh, if you're wondering if we're getting copied, we are. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, and B of A are now taking our trade ideas, which only does us favors, right? They get it a little bit late. Great. Why don't they push it up in our favor? And just talks about the scanner. And again, it's month to month. You don't have to pay a whole year and whatever. That's crazy. And as it says, it's 30-day money back guarantee. So you sign up, you pay for it. You don't like it or you don't like it after 1 day, just get a refund. And that, friends, is all of it. I hope you trade the hell out of it today and for the rest of the year. Thank you.